Hello everyone and welcome to my playthrough of Stillwater. Stillwater is a horror mystery visual novel put out by Studio Clump on Itch, and it is free to play, so if you're interested, you can get it in the description down below as always. Now, I picked this one up because the art style is absolutely beautiful. I will be perfectly honest with you. I did judge this book by its cover. But the summary also sounds equally interesting, so gonna give it a quick read for you guys. Seeing strange things comes at a price. A woman arrives with a mysterious letter in hand addressed to her grandfather. Etched in crimson is a foreboding message, a warning, a promise made from a time forgotten. Private Investigator Hugo Laurent and his assistants must solve this bizarre case before an old family's curse befalls them all. And it looks like it was made by a team of about 4 people and should roughly take about an hour to play. So I'm not sure if I'm going to break this up into 2 videos or do it all in one go, but without further ado, let's get started. I'm sorry, but I can't stay here anymore, Nina. I feel like I'm going crazy. Calm down, if we just talk it out. So many things keep happening, one after another. Every day there's this damn dripping sound. I thought it was just something leaking at first, but I checked every faucet, every ceiling, everything, and still I hear it everywhere. It's constantly echoing in my ears. Please, listen to me. Oh, but the water, that damned water. Water? Yes, it's everywhere. Pools of it are all over the house. And every time I try to mop it all up, another will appear. There's no end to it. But it's at night. It's at night when it comes. What are you talking about? I hear someone or something walking around the hallways at night. Maybe it's just my grandfather. No, Nina, it's not him. I thought it was, but it's not. But I've seen it, that thing. I only glimpsed it once, but I'm more than certain that thing was not your grandfather. Ever since that night, I would lock my door and pray it would walk past my room. I don't know what's going on, but I swear it just keeps walking. Always walking on pools of water. Sometimes I hear them randomly. Their steps are erratic and faint, but I can still hear them. Just this steady pace, up and down the halls. But I think recently it's a little different. What do you mean? Every morning I follow to see where those wet footprints lead. It walks towards something, more clearly than before. It would walk down the halls, climb the stairs, and turn corners. All of it I would follow. And eventually the trail would come to a stop. And it would all stop right by your grandfather's room. His room? If this is some sick joke to scare me away, then please stop. It's not a joke, Nina. I meant when I said there's something wicked going on in this house. That can't be true. I know this is a lot, but you have to believe me. I can't stay here any longer. I'm sorry, Nina. It's okay. I understand. Thank you for taking care of my grandfather up until now, and I'm sorry for all the stress I've caused you. I'll be sure to pay you right away as soon as I... Nina, listen to me. I don't know what's going on around here, but... The woman on the phone cautiously looks around, turning her head constantly back and forth, looking over her shoulder to find if any others listening in. She grips the phone so close to her ear in a vice-like grip before speaking again in a hushed tone. Something terrible is lurking in this house. I don't know what it is, but please, as soon as you get back, take your grandfather and just leave this place. Leave? I can't just leave everything behind. We have nowhere else to go. Please, Nina, this place is not safe. The rumors, they're true. The curse is real. My family is not cursed. But Nina, at this rate, you and your family will...
Enough! A pause. Cold and sharp tenseness strains the call as both women, exhausted and stressed beyond their comfort, try to stifle their growing frustrations towards one another, neither yielding to the other's thoughts, only leaving anger and hurt to fester through the silence. After what feels like a suffocating stillness, Nina finally sighs heavily and responds bluntly to the caretaker. Look, I don't know what you heard or saw, but I can't just leave things like this. Whoever or whatever they are, they will answer to me. I will not let them have their way. I don't have time to waste my energy on this stupid curse. So if you can't help me, then so be it. I will find a way.
Nina...
My grandfather is all I have left. He's all I have left. Ooh. Diner at 7 a.m. Amid a foggy morning, there sits a man by the corner of a booth. He drinks black coffee and, depending on his mood, occasionally orders a donut. And today it was just black coffee. I swear I've never seen that amount of paperwork in my life. A freaking mountain's worth of it. You're a valuable member of our team, Hugo. My foot. I'm starting to believe I was bamboozled into joining their agency. Hugo Laurent, age 30, takes a good look at his cup of joe and chugs it all in one sitting. He then continues to grumble to himself about last night's grueling work at the office. I really need to find a different job. As he contemplates his poor life choices, he looks out towards the early mist. There was something inherently terrifying about the fog to him, how it engulfs everything and nothing. Even if it disappears, it always leaves behind traces, proof of it remaining. Even in a quaint little town like this, I can't even run from my fate, I guess. Hugo finally stares at the compiled newspaper clippings he put together. Some of them from recent events, but mainly all were past headlines of missing person cases. No matter how many times I see this, it's still just as hard to look at. Fixating case after case, he can't help but remind himself that there's a reason for all of this. An all too personal reason. Seeing strange things comes with a price. In the end, I'm the one doing this to myself. Sounds rough? Mind if I join, Kuya? An annoyingly familiar voice interrupts his train of thought. He slowly looks up to see the one responsible, although reluctantly. Good morning, Hugo. Hugo scowls and turns away from him. He then gathers the files and shoves them back in the binder. Meanwhile, the tall man takes this as an initiative and sits at the opposite end of the booth. He greets the waitress passing by and orders himself the hefty body breakfast special with an extra plate. As usual, the waitress is happy to oblige and goes back to the counter to relay his order. The man then looks back at Hugo. He sees the empty cup and the now jumbled newspaper clippings, all while Hugo is trying to ignore him. You really should eat something with that black coffee. Not ordering any donuts today. I'm fine, Noah. I'm just not in the mood, okay? Not even a little. There's a momentary silence between them before Noah disturbs it again. Well, too bad for you. I ordered a big breakfast for the two of us. 2? As if the world would grace Noah with an even more perfect punchline, the food arrives. Why the hell did you order for the two of us? Just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about me. I am going to mispronounce this horribly. Just heads up. Wow, mukhang masarap. Right, Hugo? I'm gonna butcher that so badly. Oh, this is good. This isn't gonna be fun to look back at once I know how to pronounce these things properly. Are you even listening to me? Come on, we both know that if you don't eat now, who knows when you will, and I'm not about to let you faint again. So, open wide. 𝕊𝕐𝕚𝕒𝕒𝕚, age 27, a natural-born charmer, is also the only person in the world who lovingly threatens Hugo to eat every day. With a pensive look, Hugo finally gives in and eats the generous spoonful without further complaints. It's good, right? Good food will always help you cheer up. Damn him, I got swept away again. Oh, by the way, the chief will be out for a business trip. She mentioned it'll be for a couple of days. When did she tell you this? I didn't hear anything about it. Yesterday, I think? Yesterday? She told me to sort out the cabinets yesterday. She didn't mention anything about a business trip. I guess it was a pretty sudden one. Well, I mean, she did tell me to tell you. And lucky me, I know where you go every morning. You know what? I'm not even surprised anymore. Well, what do you want to do? We technically have the day off. I'm gonna head back to the office. There's a couple of boxes I didn't get the chance to sort out. In that case, I'll come with you. Why? You could just rest for the day. And pass up this opportunity to get to know you better, Kuya? Quit it. After their enlightening banter, the two of them finish breakfast, pay for their meals, and head to Hugo's car. I am feeling the tension already, and I love it. As Noah opens the door to the passenger seat, he notices a bloodhound sleeping inside. The big dog stirs at the sound of the car opening and lazily stares at Noah. Ah, I'm sorry, big guy. He then closes the door while trying not to make too much noise to disturb its occupant. Colby. At the sound of his name, his heavy-lidded eyes slowly peek to see who called for him. It's his one and only partner, his human. As if finally realizing who he is or where he is, the old bloodhound stirs up from his sleep, pounces at Hugo, and proceeds to wag his tail uncontrollably. Good morning again, Colby. Have a good nap? Colby, 8 years old, Hugo's most faithful and loving partner in crime, has the biggest tendency to just sleep all over the place. Noah, who is witnessing all of this from the back seat, chuckles to himself. He's amazed and slightly defeated at Hugo's sudden surge of energy. Ha! Doesn't matter how many times I try. When it comes to boosting up his mood, no one can beat Colby. Agency 750. The three head back to the office. The space is just the same as Hugo left it. A decent, organized mess. To his credit, for the amount of jobs he painstakingly went through, he believes he did a fair job. Albeit, it could have been better. Wow, you really outdid yourself, Hugo. It looks less crowded. Ah, shut it, will you? I said I was gonna get to it. Thanks, boy. Before Hugo could continue to give deserved head pats, he notices someone. A woman stands timidly, peering outside from the storefront. She looks a bit frantic and even more restless with her disheveled and ill-fitting clothes, drawing emphasis to her already too visible petite frame. The woman tries to grasp the door handle several times, but stops before she could touch it. Her brows furrow, agitated and distressed about something. So much to the point, it's preventing her from just simply reaching out for help. However, when she finally makes eye contact with Hugo, she immediately rushes in. I'm so sorry. I know that the closed sign is up, but I saw you come in and Are you all right, miss? I need your help. My grandfather, Before she can continue explaining, Noah swiftly cuts in front of Hugo and intervenes in an all-too-practiced manner. It's okay, miss. We'll hear what you have to say, so please, why don't you sit right over there? Noah gestures to one of the empty seats at the other side of the office. The poor woman hesitates for a moment. She clutches desperately to the strap of her purse, her eyes focusing apprehensively on them and at the gestured seat. After mulling over Noah's offer, she quickly glances back and nods. The woman then walks to the corner of the room and sits at the edge of the sofa. Her posture is wary and tense, giving no sign of comfort for even this brief moment of peace. Can you start off by telling us your name? I apologize for earlier. I'm usually a bit more composed than this, but I guess I'm feeling at that too. My name is Nina Mortimer. Ah, hello, Miss Nina. My name is Noah DeLeon. I'm one of the assistants here. That big guy next to you is our other lovely assistant, Colby. And the one brooding over there is Private Investigator Hugo Laurent. Not brooding, I'm just tired. And our chief is away on business, but I think we can still accommodate you. So how can we help, Miss Nina? Just for a moment, Nina appears more lax, more hopeful, maybe even relieved from this warm welcome. However, she once again tenses up. The guilt and shame come rushing back to her, visible by the creases in her brow as she once again realizes why she's here. I need help watching over my grandfather tonight. Tonight? Yes. I know this is a strange request, but my hands are tied on this. It has to be tonight. I'm sorry, Miss Nina, but I don't quite understand. Is your grandfather in any danger? I think someone is trying to take him away. Take him? Miss Nina, I think you should contact the police right away. They're far more equipped at handling this kind of situation. No, they're not. I've tried requesting their help, but they've given me the same answer verbatim for weeks now. They would send someone out to watch over the manor for the entire day, but by the end of their routine, they would always report back nothing unusual. They saw no one else leaving or arriving at the house other than me or the caretaker. And despite telling them in detail about the letters and the strange things that have been happening, there's nothing they can do about it but just sit around until it escalates even more. I can't wait any longer. Any more than this, and it'll be too late. If only I knew who Lewis was. Lewis? She lets out a gasp. Her hands shoot out to cover her mouth, realizing she said too much so carelessly. She tries to avert their gaze, but Hugo stares persistently at her. Miss Nina, who's Lewis? Are they the ones causing all of this? Once more she contemplates, her brows knit closely together as she bites her lip nervously. It's as if the words she wanted to say have suddenly died out, too heavy to even utter. A mistake she can't take back. Before the silence stretches further, Noah speaks to Nina with a gentle and reassuring tone. Miss Nina, I know it's scary. All of the things you've mentioned to us so far, no one should ever have to experience, especially all by themselves. And I assure you, we'll listen to all of it. I promise. Wild and manic eyes search deeply at them, trying desperately to discern any doubt or mistrust on their faces. However, all she sees are people who are willing to give their time to simply listen to her, to actually help her. From all of this, Nina looks to the side where her purse is and opens it. Tucked inside one of the pockets, she takes out a single, slightly crumpled envelope with a pigmented red wax seal pressed in the middle. At a glance, Hugo can tell right away that this letter appears to be a bit more worn out and antique. And yet, despite its delicate form, it remains well preserved, well kept. It's as if the letter itself was untouched by time forever, waiting to be opened. Grandfather has been receiving cryptic letters for the past month now. The letters didn't come with an address or name of the sender, but this one is different from the rest. This one has the name Lewis on it. As she hands over the letter, Hugo notices her hand is slightly shaking. Nina is still avoiding his gaze, but he knows she's trying in earnest. But before he could reach out his hand, he senses it. A faint shift in the room, unnoticeable to the others, but all too glaringly clear to him. There's something very wrong with this letter. Suddenly, Hugo recoils his hand in pain, like being struck with something sharp, so spontaneously, so memorable that even if the pain disappears within seconds, a hint of it remains. Something so small, akin to a prick from a rose's thorn, or more like a paper cut. Are you Are you all right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. No, I'm fine, Miss Mortimer. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Hugo stares squarely at the cut. A thin red line starts to form slowly by the top of his index finger, trailing down and stopping just above the first crease. A red so clearly visible it's taunting. That doesn't look like a normal paper cut to me. Let me go get you a Band-Aid. It's fine, Noah. I don't need one. But, really, it's fine. It doesn't even hurt that much. Noah takes one good look at him before sighing exasperatedly and sitting back down in his chair, still eyeing Hugo's hand. Hugo shrugs and returns his attention back to the letter, but this time, luckily, nothing happens. For it to reach all the way out here with just a letter alone is truly terrifying. Carefully, he removes the content of the envelope and unfolds it. At first, it looks like any other normal written message. A person named Lewis is asking the other, Henry, to come meet him by the lake at midnight, needing to share something important with him. However, what's eerily striking about this is not the letter itself. Peering at the bottom of the page, a message, scrawled unlike the rest, stands visibly out to Hugo. A message that shouldn't be there.
Remember our promise, Henry.
When did you receive this letter? Yesterday. And your grandfather? Where is he right now? He's currently back at our house with a caretaker. I promised them I wouldn't be out for too long. I made an agreement with them, you see. Oh, what kind of agreement? The caretaker we have now agreed to watch over my grandfather, but only during the day. Before nightfall, they'll leave at exactly the same time. Before nightfall. I wanted to believe that this whole thing was an elaborate scheme to scare my family away. I know this sounds crazy, but at one point I thought everyone was in on it. The mail carriers, the officers, the caretakers. Everyone had a hand in making our family suffer. But this one was different. Up until now, I've never heard of anyone by that name. Not a relative or a family friend, but they clearly know who grandfather is. If I don't do something about this, I'll lose him too. Just by uttering the words alone, Nina begins to break down. The stress, the anxiety, the fatigue, all of it was finally catching up to her. Her body hunches forward, her hands pressed close to her eyes as she tries to cover the stream of tears running down her face. Oh, the doggy. As an act of comfort, Colby sits closer to Nina while Noah fetches tissues. Hugo, on the other hand, is puzzled. She said this whole thing has been going on for the past month, but something doesn't add up. And before nightfall? I think there's more to this she isn't admitting. Whatever happened with that letter, I'm more than certain. Certain that whoever, or whatever, Lewis is, they're coming for blood. Ooh, take the case or reject it. You know, part of me really just wants to reject it and see what happens. But I'm going to take it. Do you want more tissues? We'll do it. We'll take on your case. For a moment, everything goes still. Their eyes and attention are slowly directed at Hugo, whose eyes have a certain glint to them, now unwavering and more determined than ever. Before anyone else speaks, Nina stands up, wipes away any stray tears, and walks up to him. You'll take it? Hugo simply nods. Thank you. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. We're glad to help, Miss... Nina, just please call me Nina. Well, Nina, we'll do our best. Nina smiles at Hugo and Noah in gratitude, her eyes renewed with a faint gleam, a hope that maybe things will change for her and her family for the better. However, before heading out, Nina reaches into her bag once more. She takes out a small piece of paper and pen and hastily starts jotting down something. I best be on my way now. I'll let grandfather know ahead of time you'll be coming. Also, this is my address. I'll be sure to greet you when you arrive. And thank you again, truly. She politely bows to them and walks out of the office, already reaching into her purse for her car keys. Hugo watches from his desk as she goes to open the driver's seat. Nina looks back at the office window and takes one last look at Hugo. She waves slightly at him before finally pulling out of the parking lot and driving off. Once out of sight, Hugo turns to look at his cluttered desk. Still messy, but presentable. I guess I'll have to sort these out later. Again. Car, 5:30 p.m. I am going to have to go get water. Oh my gosh. From the ongoing downpour to the quiet hums of the car, they sit in silence. Still miles off their destination, Hugo constantly checks the rearview mirror to see any passing cars. But it was only them in the road. Noah, who usually chats his ear off by now, leans quietly against the car door as he looks out to the passing streetlights, reserved and distant. He hasn't said a word to Hugo since they left the office. Hey, you're a lot quieter than usual. What's wrong? Huh, what a surprise! Have you been looking at me, Kuya? No, you idiot, you just usually talk a lot, that's all. So, do you miss me talking? Just say it. Do you believe her story? What? Given all the things she's told us, do you think she's telling the truth? Yes, I believe her, or at least I believe she hasn't lied to us. But you know, I can't shake this feeling she's hiding something. Like, she left out certain details, on purpose. Also, why did she have to travel this far out of town for a private eye? Surely there must have been one far closer to her home than ours. I just don't know how else to explain it. As expected of you, Hugo. Are you making fun of me? No, not at all. I'm just admiring your observations. I didn't want to offend Nina earlier, so I kept quiet until she finished. But her last name caught me off guard. Have you heard of the Mortimers? They're a pretty distinguished family that owned an esteemed fishing company. Well, they used to, I believe. They have yet to name an heir. What do you mean? Shouldn't it naturally go to Nina? It should, but I don't know. From what I heard, every time they try to name a successor, that relative mysteriously disappears. Gone without a trace. Or so anyone thought. Their bodies would turn up months after. And you know what's strange? All of them have been labeled as accidents by local news. No foul play, just another unfortunate loss for the family. They've been struck with so many tragedies that, over time, people began to believe they were cursed or something. Cursed. I think I can understand why she wouldn't want to go to the police again. They most likely thought she was just seeing things and went along with the procedure just to keep face. But deep down, they must have thought she went mad. I can't imagine all of this for Nina. And most of all, who knows what we'll find there. Is that why you decided to come with me? Well, partially. I'm more worried about you, though. Me? Why? Think of it this way. I'm the appointed driver. When you decide to do some pretty reckless shit, I'll be there to drive you to the local hospital. Besides, two's better than one. Exactly. I was fine with Colby coming with me. Well, have you heard that 3 is better than 2? Oh, this is fun. I like their banter. Passing through countless dirt roads and steep cliffs, the estate can finally be seen beyond the evergreen. Nestled away from prying eyes, it stands tall, magnificent, and classic. Truly a rarity only afforded to the privileged. And yet, with all its opulence, it looms from a distance. Hugo and Noah could only gaze at the sheer scale of the manor. Its grand stature topples easily over the dozens of houses they drove past. Wow, look at the size of it! I could never imagine seeing a house like this in person. It's almost surreal. Come on, she's waiting for us. Immediately after exiting the driver's seat, a sudden sharp pain weighs heavily on Hugo's chest. Grasping tightly at his coat, he begins to gasp for air. His vision hazes as he leans close to the car, trying desperately to ground himself. Like a fish drawn out of the sea, he desperately heaves. The air in his lungs escapes too quickly, burns as he feels his throat start to strain, drawing tighter the more he breathes. But this pain pales in comparison to a feeling far more excruciating. Is it the house? No, something far more sinister. He feels it. Something is watching him. A piercing gaze fixed on him, like leering at a bug and waiting to strike. We'll be together soon, Henry. What the hell? Damn it, already? I need to hurry or else... Hey, are you alright? Noah calls out to him, snapping him out of his fixated trance. Colby nudges his head against Hugo, whining with concern over his partner's well-being. Did you hear that? Just now. Hear what? That voice. It was so close to my ear, Is everything alright? Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me. I'm just a bit winded from the trip. That's all. I'd be happy to make you tea at the very least. If it's no trouble. No, not at all. It's the least I can do. Once again, this subtle uneasiness from Nina surfaces. But before Hugo could get a chance to look further into it, she walked off towards the front porch without saying another word. Sorry, I think somebody must be setting off fireworks near my apartment. Odd. Are you sure you're all right? You sounded like you were choking earlier. I said I'm fine. Besides, we're already here. We can't back out now. Listen to me. I think you should... Noah abruptly cuts his lecture short as he notices Nina stopping by the front door. She stands by the door silently, contemplating something. It's just like before, but this time she seems even more anxious. Whatever unease she tried to mask earlier became more apparent the minute they walked closer to the front door. I haven't been quite honest with you, Detective. Just like before, as if carefully choosing her next words, she decides that in this situation, words are not enough. You'll see for yourself what I mean. And with that, Nina enters the house, leaving the three to follow behind. Hugo is about to enter through the foyer when he feels a tug on his arm. Don't forget what I told you. If something happens, let me know right away. You'll be the first to know. And with that, Noah releases his grip on Hugo. They proceed to head in, not knowing what awaits them beyond the door. Greeted with a brightly lit hallway, Noah notes immediately that the interior is just as grand. Adorned with floral accents and antique furnishings, the house itself exudes the word elegance. A classic and rustic charm with the walls and floorings made from the finest wood. Hugo couldn't help but gape when he walked in. However, he notices something even more distinct than the splendor. Behind the seemingly perfect veneer, an unsettling air breathes throughout the house, leaving no room for doubt that inside is far more terrifying than outside. Please, come this way. Bracing themselves, they enter the dimly lit drawing room. At first glance, Hugo couldn't discern the silhouette situated at the far corner. Only the sparse lighting from the window pierces through a fraction of the room's darkness. However, as they approach closer to the silhouette, Hugo now understands the reason for all of Nina's unsettling vagueness. "Grandfather, we have guests." Sitting on the armchair is a very young man, not much older than Hugo or Noah. He's dressed modestly and shares none of the imposing presence of the manor. No, rather, such luxury doesn't even remotely reflect on the man before them at all. It's as if the flow of time had stopped only for him, while the rest had continued changing drastically without him. Just like the letter, timeless, delicate, and jarringly out of place. Staring only at the window, the young man sits there dazed with little acknowledgement of the people around him. Still, motionless, like a doll. "Grandpa? These are the people I spoke of. This is Detective Laurent and his two assistants, Colby and Noah. They're going to help us." Even after introducing them to the head of the Mortimer estate, Hugo and Noah couldn't help but feel unnerved. The man before them is supposed to be frail and older than any of them, and yet here he remains, forever unchanging, forever young. "They've come a long way, so I'll be making some tea. Would you also like some, Grandpa?" He doesn't reply back, nor does he glance at Nina or anyone else in the room, only fixates his gaze on the rain. Nothing else. "I'll be sure to make a cup for you, too." She then timidly gestures to Hugo and Noah back to the foyer. Bearing more questions, the two follow Nina outside, but before they leave the drawing room, Hugo takes one last look at the young man. There is an all too familiar air about Henry Mortimer. His eyes, they're similar to his own. Whatever he must be longing for, Hugo knows it'll never end well. "Nina, that man." "Yes, he's my grandfather, the one I asked you all to watch over." I know this is hard to believe, but..." Nina draws something out of her pocket. It's an old picture of a handsome man with slicked back hair wearing the finest of suits. The gentleman in the picture has a different air to him, one of wealth and power, none of which reflects at all on the current Henry Mortimer. It's almost as if looking at two different people. This isn't much to go by, but believe me, they are the same person. Then why does he look so young? "It happened a few nights ago. I was on my way to get a cup of water when I heard a loud thud coming from my grandfather's room. I was worried that something fell over, so I went to check. When I opened the door, I found him collapsed on the ground. I rushed to help him up, but when I did, he looked so different. He wore the same clothes that my grandpa wore that night, and his face. I recognized his face. He looked younger. So many things were rushing through my head at that moment, and yet I knew he felt familiar to me. I know it sounds bizarre the more I talk about it, but that's what happened. That was also the same night I found that letter. It was next to him, already opened. I'm sorry again for all of this. No matter who I went to, they either said something was wrong with me or my family. With everything going on, maybe they're right. The pools of water, the letters, Lewis, and now this. I've been ignoring the signs for years, and just blindly hoping things can get better if I can find solutions on my own. But it's not enough anymore. Maybe my family really is cursed. No, they're not. Curses aren't real. Detective? I think we get too easily involved in believing that sort of thing exists. In truth, the ones who fixate on it make it their reality. Rumors, doubts, lies, all of those things are what they want to become real. Deep-rooted emotions like that can't possibly be healed or fixed right away. But like a curse, those emotions drag other people down with them. Personally, I think you were caught up in all of this. But I assure you, we'll see this through. For you and Mr. Mortimer. Thank you. Good. Now, our first priority is to find out more about Lewis. Nina, The letter you showed us back at the agency, do you have it with you? Ah, yes, it's here. Do you mind if I borrow it for a bit? I'll be sure to give it back. Of course, but what are you going to do with it? I've searched everything on that letter and I still couldn't come up with clues. I'll be using it as a reference, or a guide, if you will. I'm afraid I can't discuss too much of the process. Trade secret and all. Ah, of course. I'll go check upstairs. Noah, you and Colby check the ground floor. Got it. Before they leave to do their own investigations, Hugo grabs a hold of Noah's shoulder. He leans in close enough for Nina not to hear. Keep a close eye on Mortimer and Nina. Especially Nina. I don't want her to be dragged in any more than she already is. So whatever happens, keep her safe. Hugo, you... Fine, but remember, yell for me, okay? I know. Thank you, Noah. I'm counting on you. You too, boy. With a final nod at them, Hugo then goes towards the staircase and heads upstairs. Noah stares for a moment longer. Hugo's back before he disappears into the first floor. He then turns to look at Colby. Well, time we get to work. Right, Colby? Investigations start. The objective is to look around the area for objects to precede the story. Use the arrows to move to a different area. Outlines will appear in a clickable object. On the top right is the hint button. Clicking it will highlight the objects you missed. Okay. Well, there's no white outline on him, but he is moving. Oh, puppy. Okay. Let's try this way. Alright. Oh, there's something. A large bookshelf stands close to the entryway. It contains a couple of photo albums and a few phone books. Now we can click things. Oh, wow. A delicate arrangement of violets and white roses. They seem fresh and fairly new. An old rotary dial telephone. Mr. Mortimer still sits motionless by the corner of the room, his gaze never leaving the rain. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there. Okay. Frames decorating the walls are covered in white sheets, veiled with a thin lining of dust on top of each one. Wow, there are so many paintings covering the walls. Are there more like this all over the house? Yes, my grandfather commissioned many back in the day. But sadly, he doesn't do that anymore. Nina, I can't help but notice the paintings are covered. How come? I did that. I covered them up. For my grandfather's sake. For his sake? Yes, he was pretty obsessed with them, you see. There were times when he would mutter to himself or just stare at the paintings for days on end. It worried me so much I had to cover them all. Since then, he hasn't stared at any of them. He just sits quietly, looking outside. I see. About the paintings, I also noticed they all have a similar theme. They all had water in them. I know this isn't a coincidence since you've told us before, but if there's anything you know, anything at all, please tell me. Noah, can I ask you a question first? Sure, go ahead. Do you believe in mermaids? Mermaids? I don't suppose I do. Why? Casting her gaze to the floor, Nina anxiously fidgets and tightly clasps her hands together. She then briefly sighs and continues. Well, there's this story, or rather, more like a fairy tale, that my family has passed down. A fairy tale? Yes, well, it feels like one, to me. It was about a fisherman who fell in love with a mermaid. Every day and every night he would go out by the shore to gaze at her beauty, but one day she vanished, leaving him confused and heartbroken. Determined, he would sail many seas for a chance to see her again. Sailing from coast to coast, new lands beyond and back he would go. Not long after, fortune followed him all throughout his journey and made him one of the wealthiest and most highly respected in his village. However, despite all the wealth he gained throughout his travels, he never found the mermaid again. She would only be a dream, nothing more. And that's the end of the story. It doesn't end happily, but I guess there was a lesson behind it. I just never understood it. What do you think happened to the mermaid? I know it's an exaggeration, and yet I can't help but wonder. It's hard to say. I just feel bad for both of them. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of sad endings. If it were me, I would wish the fisherman and the mermaid could see each other again. Or at least that's what I think. Even if they weren't meant to be with one another? Yeah, I think so, at least. I wouldn't want to imagine going through a journey all by myself. It's hard being alone. A journey all by yourself. After searching vigorously through each of the rooms, he knew his findings would eventually lead him here. This is it. Hugo walks towards the nearest lampshade and switches it on. Dimly illuminated, he sees the extent of how lavish this part of the house is. From the customized window drapes to the vintage furnishings, everything here exudes extravagance. But much like the interior Hugo has seen so far, he finds this one in particular reeks of it. Plastered from wall to wall, a gloom lingers. It's as if the room itself is moldering, despite its preserved nature. Okay, let's look at this suspiciously large chest. A classic wooden chest lies at the foot of the canopy bed. Its lock still firmly holds, safeguarding whatever is inside. Okay, let's not look at the wooden canopy bed. Is there anything else we can touch? Not seeing anything. That is such a suspicious sheet of paper. I want to touch it. Ah, there we go. Scattered pieces of paper, all forgotten, lie waiting on the cold floor. Heavily etched markings are found scrawled all over the papers. An old photo of a lost time. A sweet summertime memory of a little girl with her beloved grandfather. Aw, how cute. A leather-bound journal rests on the edge of the table. Its pages are torn out so haphazardly that the binding itself is starting to fall out. And we're not going to read it? Really? We're not going to read it? I would read it. A pristine pearl-white tea set sits patiently by, untouched and unused for quite some time. Atop the fireplace, unblemished and unmarked by time, hangs a curious and familiar painting of a beautiful woman floating in water. I don't think there is anything else on this screen. What about... Nope. Okay. Ah, there we go. A meticulously organized set of academic books, ranging from non-fiction to geography, are all on display. However, hidden away behind the vast collection are some children's fairy tales, all carefully kept. I need to hurry. I don't want to stay here for too long. He searches, and still no sign of Lewis. To Hugo, even if there is a fragment, a singular thread to that person, to their real selves, he could find them. But there's nothing. Not one thing pertaining to him. It's as if the thought of Lewis barely exists at all. What is going on? I clearly sensed that presence from before, but it's gone again. Damn it. I wish I had more time. No, calm down. It has to be here. I just need to focus. He ponders again, retracing every step and every little detail, hoping that he overlooked something. Yet, all he knows is that the one tangible thing that connects him, that tethers so closely to this space and most of all to Henry, is the letter. Words of promise, of love, all delicately etched onto a page, but tainted with a powerful and dark emotion that has been festering for far too long. Tainted. From the very start of all of this, Hugo believed that whoever Lewis was, they were the ones responsible. He thought he could find them and convince them to stop their haunting for good, to bring them peace and to move on. However, that isn't the case anymore. The unnatural force that binds everyone so closely together in this family is not the cause of an angry spirit. No, it's something far more devious than that. As he takes the letter out from the envelope, he notices a change within. Bearing no foreboding threat at the bottom of the page, it looks just like a regular letter, or rather, what it once was. A sad and tragic love. If you can't come, then I understand. Things have gotten more complicated with your mother ever since she found out about us, right? I'm sorry, Henry, for everything. It hurts to see you so torn up like this. I would never hurt you or drag you along with me. If this is to be our farewell, then can I ask you one last favor? Could you keep my locket? I know this is selfish of me, but I'd like for you to have it. I'd be happy to know it's safe with you. My heart will be forever yours, Henry. With love always, Lewis. So this was the true letter. A small warmth emanates from the paper, wrapping closely around his fingers, quiet and soothing. The fragment Hugo was searching for. Lewis, I'm sorry. You were also a victim in all of this, too. Please, if you can hear me, I need your help. Without warning, the sound of a click can be heard across the bedroom. As if something unlocked itself. Hugo turns his head towards the sound and sees the chest. Unlike the other furniture, its dark and rustic features have not been maintained well, left to rot on its own. Suddenly, he stops at the sound of a voice, a sweet voice whispering to him, beckoning him towards the fireplace. Come here, my dear, sweet boy. No, we do not follow whispery paintings. Especially not to what sounds like a painting of the Lady of Shalott.